Happy Transfer Tuesday, everybody, the day of the week where we take a look at our finances to see if there's any money moves we can make in a positive direction. I have some really exciting life updates for you guys. I'm going to share those in a minute, though, after my transfers. It was a quiet week for me. It was not a pay week. So I've got 3 transfers I want to share, and then I want to talk more about what I'm doing with my food budget this year, which I feel like is kind of a big deal given the economic circumstances that we're in. So the first transfer I have for the week came yesterday, and it is going to be added to my student loan savings. Last week we left the student loan savings at $34,416. I am astounded by how quickly that amount is going up. You guys are so amazing. Yesterday, I got a Venmo notification that Carol had sent me $100. Thank you so much, Carol. You know I'm putting that right to the savings. You brought my student loan savings up to $34,516. We are getting so close to 20%. If you are new here, I am trying to save up the full balance of what I owe on my federal student loans. They're the only debt I have left at this point, aside from a rental property mortgage that's paying for itself. But the student loans, federal student loans, are all I have left. It's still $178,209 as of today, so I'm just trying to save up that amount. I don't know. We'll see what happens along the way, but for now, that's what we're doing. And then yesterday, I also did my January investment. I have a monthly goal of investing at least $100, and this is in addition to my 401k. I added $100 to my Roth, and I actually added it to the 2023 year. You can continue to add to your Roth IRA up until the tax deadline in April. So just because I don't know what I'm going to be feeling about contributing to it for the 2024 year, I'm just backdating, and just in case I get real ambitious with my Roth this year, I don't know. I actually also got a paper check refund from my HSA. I over contributed in 2023 by $12.77. And that's just through, I did my best calculation at the start of the year to figure out how much I needed to contribute each paycheck to maximize it throughout the year. And apparently I was $12 over, but that's okay. They sent that back, minus taxes, of course. And I got a paper check back for $11.79. So I just went and deposited that into my Roth as well. So between the $100 and the $11.79, I bought about 0.58 shares of VTI. I just do broad market ETFs. I'm not crazy with the Roth. I just go for kind of safe, comfort investments. So that brought my Roth total account value up to $6,831 as of today. And of course, that obviously fluctuates with the stock market, but that's all I have for transfers from this last week. Now, I want to talk about my food budget. I've kind of alluded to this a bit, but I'm pretty much at a standstill right now when it comes to real estate and the whole house hack buying process. You guys know I have been looking for well over a year, and inventory is incredibly tight in my price range. You guys know I've shared with you I've only looked at one property, and that was back in July, I think. And when I got there, there was 4 other groups of showing at the exact same time. They already had 21 offers. It's only been on the market for 3 days. Even though we're not seeing quite the insanity that we were 2020, 2021 with the real estate, it's still insane out there. And I'm noticing, particularly for multifamilies and house hacking, so many people obviously are exploring this option as well. It is a tough economy out there. Housing is insane. And that's why I haven't left this apartment in over 2 years now, because this is cheap, really cheap for my area. And luckily it's just a mom and pop landlord who is okay with whatever income they're getting, and they've not been doing insane price increases over the years. It's been $25-$30 each year, and I'm insanely grateful for that. So even though this is not the dream location for me by any means, you guys know I've talked about that a ton, I'm finding it so hard to be able to move, either renting an apartment that's cheaper. It's just not happening. There is nothing available this cheap. Plus, it's a pretty good size apartment. It's comfortable here. There's nothing cheaper for it's. If I do, it's like gonna be half the size, and it just, that sucks. I'm not able to buy anything because I'm getting priced out, and I'm just not comfortable upping my price anymore because I'm on a budget, because I've worked really hard to get the financial foundation I have right now, and I'm just not gonna give that up for anything. I'm not gonna go blow past my budget just to buy a multifamily because it's available. I just am not willing to sacrifice going out of my comfort zone financially just so I can get in this real estate market and buy a house hack. Maybe that's not quite the option for me anymore, but I'm going to continue to hang. As of right now, it's January, and typically Q1 is a good time to buy, looking at the year as a whole, just because, with the holidays, things are kind of quiet, things are calm. It's a good time of year to get a deal, so I'm not counting myself out of the game just yet. But I'm not hopeful, and to be perfectly frank, I'm feeling my heart called in a different direction, and now enter the food budget. So housing is my largest budget item. I'm trying to reduce it, but the real estate market's not favorable, so I'm just kind of in a waiting period. So while I'm waiting, I want to focus 2024 and beyond on my food budget, the next largest item in my budget, which is my food and grocery budget. We've all been dealing with insane inflation over the last few years and grocery prices that are just skyrocketing. It's time to get scrappy. So I've just been spending my days lately going down the rabbit holes of what I can do with my food budget. And in the main alternatives or way of dealing with the prices of food that keeps coming back to me is grow my own. You guys, I'm obsessed with gardening. I love gardening. I've had a garden at every apartment I've ever been able to live in, every home that I lived in. I think it's time to pull these skills back off the back burner, dust off the cobwebs, and figure out how to grow my own food and take control of my food budget. That's going to be a huge focus for me for 2024. Yes, still working on the housing budget in the background, but it's about the food now, and what can I do? This last week, I have signed up to be on the wait list for my town's community garden. It's a victory garden, which is kind of funny. If you don't know what a victory garden is, it's kind of a term they coined community and public gardens and people's backyard gardens as well, that's shared with their neighbors and community. But it came about during World War I and World War II, when the economy was not the best. It came out of necessity for finding cheaper alternative ways to feed the troops overseas, as well as feed the families that were still behind in the States. And so came victory gardens, and I don't know about you, but it feels a little bit like we might be in some economic times where victory gardens should really be a thing again. And in some aspects, they never went away. There's always the people that have known, seen, and loved the importance of gardening, and so they're still very much alive, but I think the attention on them is becoming more and more. We all know 2020 exploded the gardening scene because people saw how unstable our food economy really is. And when you're experiencing things like empty grocery shelves, it really sparks an interest in how can I bolster myself to be prepared for this more in the future. And we're not necessarily seeing the empty shelves of 2020 like we were back then, but our budget just doesn't stretch like it used to anymore because the prices just keep going up. So I'm on the wait list for a plot. I actually drove by the other day because it's 3 minutes away. Why I haven't looked into this in previous years, I just didn't have the mental capacity to look into these kinds of things in previous years, but now it's all I can think about. So it's 3 minutes away, so I went over there just to kind of peek it out, and I'm not super confident I'm gonna get off the wait list because people definitely have been there for years. They have their names painted on rocks at the boundaries of their little garden plots. They have lawn chairs set up. They have a lot of their like tomato cages and other storage items just tucked in the corner by their plot. It seems very established by the same recurring families. But I don't know. We'll see what shakes out. I'm not counting it out yet, but not super hopeful. So I'm also trying to consider what other options are available for me. Unfortunately, in this apartment, I don't have a great option for finding little ways where I can grow a tomato outside. You guys know I tried that on my porch summer before last, and the damn squirrels ate every single tomato just before it was ripe, so I didn't get a single tomato. I had some success with kale on my porch, but they were transplants from my brother's food forest, so they were already pretty established. So whether or not I'm gonna be able to grow anything of my own, I'm not sure. But I'm in New England. People care about their backyard gardens. People care about the local farmers markets. People care about doing the right thing for their community, their nutrition, the environment. There's no excuse why I can't be a part of this. And so whether or not I can grow my own, I don't know. But at the very least, I'm going to be focusing way more heavily on farmers markets. And I can go down any back road within a 10-minute drive and hit probably a couple veggie stands at the end of people's driveways. And extra shout out to those of you who put your Venmo QR code right on your veggie stand so that the people who never carry cash on them can still have access to your beautiful vegetables and fruits and flowers and honey and maple and all the things that people grow around here. I will absolutely be leaning more heavily into that because not only is it cheaper than grocery stores, but it's also way more environmentally friendly. So much of the produce in this country comes a lot pretty heavily from California and citrus from Florida and things like that. And that's a lot of gas guzzling that tomatoes and lettuce are doing. Things that I can absolutely grow in my damn window if I wanted to. So I'm going to be focusing on local, sustainable, environmentally friendly, nutritional value type foods. Either growing my own, hitting the backyard veggie stands, hitting the farmers markets on the weekend, just paying more attention to what I'm doing to rein in my food budget. And also at the same time, hopefully satisfy my urge to garden, get my green thumb growing, shake off some of that black thumb. I don't know, it's just gonna be a big old experiment. I'm gonna make a whole video on this because I think it's super important. It's gonna be telling you right now, the way my brain has been spinning lately, this is gonna be a huge focus for me in 2024. Not only just food, but household items and everything that has everything to do with the way that I shop. And so I can't wait to talk about it. I realize a lot of these topics might not have any interest to some of you. I understand that. I know a lot of people are just here for the money, and that's never going away. My story is always going to be financial, but for me, it makes sense to just start personally attacking my budget by item, and I'm trying to do the housing. Now let's focus on the food and grocery budget and household items. Those are all like my next biggest categories in my budget. So we gotta do what we can. We can't afford to move. We can hardly afford to eat. It's time to get scrappy. So if you're interested, I would love to have you follow along. Like I said, video coming soon about all of my personal goals for 2024 with my groceries, household items, shopping in general, all of it. I think it's going to be super important for me this year, and I'm so excited to talk about it. So if you guys are new here, this is kind of like the next cog in the wheel of my financial journey. And overall for 2024, I'm just going way more gentle on myself. So if you are new here and you haven't seen my more soft girl budget era video I put out recently, I'll link that right here for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm excited to talk to you guys about all of this stuff soon. As always, let me know down in the comments what money moves you guys made towards your financial goals. What are you working on for 2024 with your budgets? Let's talk about it. Thank you, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.